You're listening to The Mountain Spirit, a podcast of Christian Appalachian Project, where we explore the stories, voices, and changemakers shaping Appalachia. Welcome to Season 12. We are so glad to be back with a new season of conversations about the people, places, and partnerships helping move Appalachia forward. To kick things off, we are so honored to welcome Gayle Conelly Manchin, the 13th federal co-chair of the Appalachian Regional Commission, also known as ARC. She is the first ARC federal co-chair from West Virginia, and in this role, she works alongside governors, state partners, local development districts, and community leaders across all 13 Appalachian states. ARC works to strengthen economic opportunity and build greater community capacity throughout the region. Her career has been rooted in education, public service, and partnerships. Federal Co-Chair Manchin has served as an educator, West Virginia's First Lady, President of the State Board of Education, Cabinet Secretary for the West Virginia Office of Education and the Arts, and also co-founder of the West Virginia Public Education Collaborative. We are so grateful to have you on the show. Federal Co-Chair Manchin, welcome to the show today.
Well, Tina, thank you so much. It is an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be on your show today and share in conversation about all the wonderful things going on throughout the Appalachian region. So thank you.
We are so grateful to have you and want to go ahead and jump into our conversation today. I love hearing about people's roots and where they come from, because I think it informs who we are and how we show up in the work that we do. So before we talk about all of your professional accomplishments and the work of ARC, can you tell us a little bit about your own personal background and story?
Well, certainly. Interestingly, I have lived my entire life in West Virginia, but when I became the federal co-chair of the ARC, I did have to preface that I was born in Asheville, North Carolina, which was my mother's home, but that's part of the ARC. So I have not left the Appalachian region since birth. But yes, I grew up in West Virginia and in southern West Virginia particularly, and I say that because living in the part of the most rugged part of the Appalachian mountain ridge, I think from early childhood gave me a greater understanding of many of the challenges. Just getting from point A to point B was definitely a challenge. When I went to West Virginia University, which is in the northern part of the state, it literally took me 7 hours to drive from Beckley, West Virginia to Morgantown, West Virginia. So then later, as an adult, living and working certainly throughout the state, you saw how these challenges affect not only personal lives, but the workplace, the opportunities. And so the Appalachian Regional Commission certainly was created just to deal with those challenges that we face every day. And so certainly that happened through President Kennedy. Before he was president, he came to West Virginia to campaign, and he was appalled and amazed at the poverty, the isolation. And he said, how can a state thrive and grow if it has no highway system?
Right.
So that was the mindset that went back and started creating the Appalachian Regional Commission.
So that is a great segue into our next question, because for people who may not be familiar with the Appalachian Regional Commission, can you briefly explain sort of what the commission was set up to do, a little bit of the history of it? You just alluded to that a little bit, but can you delve into that a little bit more to just educate our listeners?
Certainly. So the Appalachian Mountain Ridge, and I will preface this by saying the Appalachian Mountains are one of the oldest mountain systems in the world. not just in the United
Yeah.
States. So that in and of itself, I think, helps people to understand why there is so much wonderful stuff within our mountains because of the age of the mountains.
Yeah.
But the mountain ridge actually extends from southern New York to northern Mississippi. And so there are 13 states that actually have part of this Appalachian mountain ridge through them. West Virginia is the only state that is totally within the Appalachian region.
Mm.
And so with that has come many of the challenges that come with mountains and mountainous areas. And so when the Appalachian Commission actually became law in 1965, the president had been assassinated, President Kennedy, but President Johnson rolled it into his war on poverty and signed it in. But the original mission was highways, to
Hmm.
build highways through the mountains. And then from that, it was to certainly increase economic development, workforce development, infrastructure. So, in addition to roads, it was water systems, sewer systems, now broadband, another highway system. Certainly promoting the tourism that is the beauty of the
Yeah.
Appalachian
Yeah.
region,
Absolutely.
and also to help support our communities, help them build resources and skill sets within these communities. So that those are our goals.
Yeah. So, and we're going to talk about some of those individually as we go throughout our conversation today. But as I read through your bio, you have an extensive history in public service. So, looking back over your own journey from educator to First Lady of West Virginia to now uh, in this role as a federal co chair, what experiences most prepared you for your current role?
Tina, I think everything that I have been blessed to have the opportunity to do in life
Yeah.
is what prepared me for this. Certainly, the love of education and going into that field, but also having the opportunity to direct an AmeriCorps program of Promise Fellows.
Yeah.
And then my work with education in the arts, which then extended throughout the entire state, working at the university level as well as the K 12 level helped me understand the necessity of entities working together to connect to provide the best opportunities for young people. And I think just growing up in West
Yeah.
Virginia,
Yeah.
you know, my parents, it was all about you were kind to one another, you respect each other, you you reach out if somebody needs your help, whether it's just to cross the street
Yeah.
or to help find a job or to get better training. If you can be there and help in some way, that's what you're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
I think most Appalachians grow up in that mindset that you take care of one another. It's not just about you. And so I feel very blessed to have grown up in this area, in this era of we're all in it together.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how little you have, you always have something to share with someone else.
Absolutely. I certainly have seen that in families and communities that we get to work with through Christian Appalachian Project. That whether it's pantry work and someone saying, "No, give my neighbor needs more help," or their home needs repair. No, no, but go help my neighbor. And certainly we see it after natural disasters, where we're going door to door to try to help people, and folks are always looking out for their neighbors to make sure that their neighbors and community is taken care of, and the seeing people rise up to look out for one another in the community. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about as the first we talked about being the first ARC federal co-chair from West Virginia. What does that distinction mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, personally, I certainly have a great deal of pride that I was selected, and I just think 13 must be my lucky number that I would pick. But it's also as a surprise to me with West Virginia being totally within the Appalachian region that there had not been a federal co-chair from this area before. But to me, one of the most important aspects is that truly West Virginia, along with Eastern Kentucky, I have to tell you, Senator McConnell and I have had several conversations around central Appalachia.
Yes.
And he was quick to tell me that Eastern Kentucky was the heart of Appalachia. And I said, well, Senator, if Eastern Kentucky is the heart, then West Virginia is the soul. And so, but I do think that being in Central Appalachia not only puts me sort of in the middle and being able to look both to the north and to the south throughout this region, but also I think a good understanding again of being in the most rugged part of those Appalachian Mountains and realizing how much greater those challenges can be in areas where there is no flat land.
Right. And I think having someone there that grew up there and can appreciate those challenges, we talk all the time about representation and having a seat at the table, like having that lived experience, like you're not just talking about something that you saw on a drive through. It's like a lived experience that you understand those challenges from personal experience. I think that has a lot of weight to how we look at then what are the solutions.
Tina, you're absolutely right. There is nothing like having lived it to be able to dig in and say, yes, this is exactly the way it is, but we can meet this challenge, and together we can find the right solution. But yes, that is so important.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of those solutions. So we talked about what the ARC works on, things like broadband, economic development, and different opportunities. I know that you all do a lot of collaboration and partnerships. So let's talk a little bit about that. You place a lot of importance on collaboration in the work that you do. Why do partnerships matter so much when it comes to addressing the challenges as well as the opportunities that is facing Appalachia currently?
Well, firsthand, when I became the federal co-chair, it was during COVID, and so we weren't going anywhere.
Right.
So as soon as things opened up, I began to travel the 13 states. And what was exciting is that I saw these wonderful projects in all of the 13 states, grants that were making exciting things happen. But I also noticed it was 13 states
Yes.
that were writing these great grants. And so I started saying to them, we're not the 13 states of Appalachia. We're the Appalachian region.
Yes.
And that's what connects us, the mountains, the rivers, the culture, the heritage, the people. And if we don't continue to connect that, we lose. Then you've just got these separate entities. Plus, a great idea that happens in Pennsylvania, why shouldn't that help Ohio and Maryland and West Virginia? So I think to use as the example, the greatest example we had is all the connections that we already have, the mountains and the rivers. Mm-hmm. And why would we pay any attention to borders? If you lift up our borders, you wouldn't know where to put them back down.
Yeah.
And so I think that while people that live in a state, you're very proud of your state, you want good things to happen, but I think they also began to see that bleeding over into other states, these good ideas and pulling them together strengthened everybody. Yeah. Your state became stronger, but so did the states around you. And so I think that it is working in the effect that they're seeing good benefits.
Your generosity has a direct and positive impact in the lives of people in need in Appalachia every day. It is the unwavering support of faithful friends like you that make this work possible. Many of our supporters are beginning to plan and envision what kind of legacy they want to leave to support the causes that are near and dear to their hearts. CAP is happy to provide a safe and easy experience for people to create a will and support CAP through non-cash gifts. Through our partnership with Free Will, CAP offers our donors the ability to create a will online and alter it at no charge. Our partnership with Free Will also includes their Smart Giving Suite, which allows donors to give through their IRA, donor advised funds, and stock online, in addition to creating a will for free. In recent years, Appalachia has faced unrelenting challenges, including the pandemic, inflation, and back-to-back natural disasters. You can make a life-changing impact and leave a legacy of hope in Appalachia. To learn more about non-cash giving opportunities, please visit christianapp.org/more ways to give.
So I live in the space of narrative storytelling and as the director of communications, and we know that there's so many stereotypes about Appalachia that folks from outside the region have. So I want to talk about that a little bit. When people outside of the region think about Appalachia, what is it that you wish that they understood? You just mentioned culture and the beauty of the area, all of these things. What do you wish people understood about the communities that exist in Appalachia, the potential that's there? Like, what is that big dream for you when we think of stereotypes and how to combat those?
Well, the main people that we need that need to understand this message the most are the people that live in Appalachia, because they hear these stories, the hillbillies, not smart enough, not good enough. And so, when that's the story you hear, that's what you believe. So part of the effort of ARC has been to say, no, we have a story to tell, and it's a good story. The energy from the people like Katherine Johnson, that was part of the space program, Elvis Presley for Mississippi, the culture, the music. So this whole blend of the greatness that is in the people and also in the land need to be appreciated, and we need to tell that story rather than having people tell stories on us. And I think through our educational programs, through our STEM academies, through our university programs where research is done, we have teachers coming in for training at Oak Ridge, at our science research institutes. We are beginning to help people truly believe who they are, people that are just as smart, just as good, but because of the isolation and because of the remoteness, and which led to a lot of the poverty after the coal industry declined somewhat. The other silver lining was that after COVID or during COVID, people were looking for open spaces, places to come away from the cities. And I think the Appalachian region was rediscovered during that time and has now continued. And so that's why outdoor recreation and tourism has become one of our greatest assets, is providing people not only the resources, but the opportunities to come here, to settle, to enjoy, and encouragement for our own people that you don't have to leave the area to find a great quality of life. Yeah. It's available right here. You can get the education. You can be anything you want to be, and you can do it right here in the beautiful hills and mountains of Appalachia.
I love that. I love that beautiful way of thinking about starting with changing the narrative internally, because that it then changes the expression of that externally. I know here, not far from Lexington, Moorhead University has a NASA center. I just think people, when they think of NASA, probably do not think of Kentucky, but they have an amazing program there with young people that are going to be the next generation of folks, putting people into space. And I think just continue to tell those stories and saying to young people here in Central Appalachia and throughout the region that you can do it, that you can really, the sky is the limit. So I love that. And those examples of Katherine Johnson and Elvis Presley, and like culture as well as science and the impact
Yeah,
that folks have had.
absolutely. And we have such a wealth of that. And that's another great reason, Tina, for this collaboration. We connect our trails so that our communities now have this connection. We connect our rivers so our little riverfront communities now can connect with each other. And so it's all about what we can build together is so much more impactful and more effective than what we try to build individually.
Yeah, I love it, love it, love it. All right, so let's talk about ARC and what are your priorities. One of the priorities is expanding economic opportunity. I know that exists in tourism, in the arts and culture as well. But what are some of the most promising developments you're seeing across the region right now when it comes to economic development?
Well, one of the exciting things that I'm seeing, and one of the things that our 13 states all share, are lots of really good academic institutions. We have community
Yes.
colleges, we have state colleges, universities. And so, what we have managed to build through our community college system is a multi state grant around cybersecurity, building a curriculum throughout all 13 states so that we can say to the Department of Defense that the Appalachian region has a well trained cybersecurity workforce ready to work at every level, whether it's at the training level at the bottom or whether it's doing research at one of the most established universities, that it is well trained in a diversity, but cybersecurity is certainly not going to lose the need of. We're going to continue to need more of that as we get into more AI, more technology. And so that's something that I think is a perfect example of how we can connect our states and build an infrastructure of knowledge
Yeah.
throughout that serve not only our region, but help serve our nation.
Yeah, and you'd mentioned broadband being like the next highway. So mentioning the impact that artificial intelligence is going to have and how like being a part of that as it develops and not being left behind. So talk a little bit about the challenges of bringing broadband. We are talking about the topography and all that. There are challenges, but there are also opportunities. So where does broadband fit into what the ARC is working to accomplish, and really how far? I feel like we've been talking about broadband in rural communities for a long time. How close are we to really making sure that communities have access to broadband connectivity?
Well, I think again, COVID was such an awakening for the Appalachian region because COVID shut down schools and sent students home and said, "We'll have school virtually." Well, for many students throughout Appalachia, that was no education at all because there was no Wi Fi, there was no way to teleconference, there was no way for them to go to school virtually. And so it certainly was a wake up call to Appalachia that broadband is just like electricity. It's
Yeah.
not an amenity, it's a necessity. And so we have struggled with it because broadband is expensive. And so, you would have a provider say, well, it costs $50,000 to lay a mile of fiber. And then in that mile, you have maybe two families
Yeah.
that live out of holla. So who's going to pay for that $50,000 fiber bill? And so those certainly are the challenges. But what we find is that providers have to work with communities. We have found at ARC that we need to work with other federal agencies, EPA, EDA, that we need to combine and think about how we connect our funding to help these most challenged areas be able to bring broadband, because every home, every person should have access to the internet to open their world, whether it's for their work or for pleasure or to gain employment, for telehealth. I mean, when you think about these very remote areas and people having to travel 2 or 3 hours to get
Yeah.
to a medical service, telehealth becomes a lifesaver at times. So it's critically important. We still are not there. They talk about Starlink, that in these most rugged areas that using Starlink, using the skies is going to be more effective than trying to bury fiber. I think this is still, it's all of the above.
Yes.
We need everything, we need access. And so that challenge continues, but it is certainly, I think, understood now. It's not a question anymore of should we. The question is how quickly can we make it happen?
Yes, and I'm glad to hear you explain like the why there is challenges. I think sometimes we think what works in an urban area, like, well, how can't you just lay the fiber optic and be done with it? Like they're like having that picture of what it's really like on the ground, and then talking about how what are the can you think outside the box? Like, okay, so if that doesn't work, then what else could work? Because people
Sure.
need it for all of the things. The telehealth piece is very critical. I think about people starting small businesses where you could have a shop. There's so many artists, people that have services they could offer, but if you don't have broadband or even bringing businesses to the area, what company will relocate to a place that doesn't have broadband? Like all of those things feed into opportunities for the future. I'm glad to see the ARC is working, to address that and bring light to that and bring those collaborations.
Absolutely. It's critical. Like, as I said, it's just like you would not think about going and buying a home that didn't have electricity in it. I mean,
Right.
you would laugh. And that is exactly where we are with broadband. And to say, well, you can live in this area, but, well, unfortunately, we don't have broadband. Well, that's not an answer anymore.
Yeah, yes. So thank you so much for spotlighting that, and hopefully people will champion that when they see it come in, before legislation to extend broadband to communities, and will support that because it is critical to all of us. That example of electricity is really how we think of it. It's a necessity. It's not a luxury anymore.
Yeah.
You've highlighted some of the other things that the ARC works on, and one of the things we know is also addressing the opioid crisis. What gives you hope when you look at the recovery efforts happening across Appalachia and the focus and investment on helping families dealing with the opioid crisis?
Tina, one of the most sad things is that people that have the least somehow in these situations always end up in the worst
Yeah,
possible
yeah,
situation. And so this opioid epidemic that has hit our country has hit areas like in Appalachia the worst.
yes,
The death and the destruction of communities and families. And so, what we found at ARC is that, as I said, this is not an individual problem, it is a community problem. And therefore, in order to really be successful, it takes a community solution. And so you need your police, your federal, your jury system, your medical community, your business community. You need everyone pulling together because it's not just about the rehabilitation that an individual goes through, but when they come out, there has to be training. There has to be an opportunity
right,
for a job. Businesses have to understand they have to give these people a second chance. And what if there's no transportation? If the person does not have a car? What if it's a mother, a single mother? She has her children back now. How is she to work if she doesn't have childcare?
right,
So it is a ecosystem of a community all working together to support these individuals, that they don't have to return to the world that they came from. They can create a new life for themselves where they have hope. Having a sense of hope in your life is so important, and also a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
You have a reason for being there. You have a reason for getting up in the morning. You have a job. You're going to become a vibrant part of a community. You're not going to be the liability anymore.
Right.
And in order to do that, you need that support, the counseling, the business, the faith community, the education community. Everyone saying, this is the part we play. This
Yeah.
is how we can support this individual. And we have seen it work over and over. Are there relapses? Certainly. But overall, certainly the majority is, if they have this type of ecosystem within their community, they're going to build a new life for themselves and for the people around them. And again, you're not just rebuilding yourself. You're a part of helping to rebuild the family that you're a part of and the community that you're a part of.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about young people. And when you think of the young people in Appalachia and their future, what role do you think those young people are going to play in the future of Appalachia? And what can communities do to encourage the next generation to stay or return or invest in the region?
Well, I think it's a combination. Certainly, it is about education, and from early childhood throughout their lives. Obviously, learning is a lifelong process. But I think certainly putting that encouragement and stressing the importance of education for parents to understand that, for young people, for them to have the opportunities to go to these STEM camps in the summer, where the STEM camp that we support at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, brings students from all 13 states. So not only are they connecting with great educational research and science, but they're connecting with other people just like themselves. And what they find is how much they have in common. And some of these connections continue. And I always tell them at graduation, you know, look around you at the great friends you've made,
Yeah.
because you never know in life. You all may end up together again someday in a profession. But what it also shows them is that they can have a good quality of life wherever they live. The opportunity is there for them. You have to step up, you have to take advantage of, but with support from communities and families, that happens. I think having great outdoor recreational opportunities. People want to be where they can go whitewater rafting and rappelling and
Yeah.
mountain biking and camping and doing all of these outdoor things that young people love to do. And it's right here.
Yeah.
They can say, I don't have to go somewhere to do this. All I have to do is go out my back door, and it's right there. So I think that it is, again, a combination, and having the resources, having the health care that you need, having the opportunities in terms of child care, transportation. All of these things are important, and they are challenges throughout the Appalachian region, but they're not insurmountable. And I think as a region, we're beginning to understand how important it is to think about how we connect our transportation systems, how we connect our healthcare facilities, how we connect our education, our academic institutions, that everyone, regardless of their zip code,
Right.
has the opportunity to get where they need to be, to learn what they need to learn, to be whatever they want to be.
Awesome. I love it. Is there a particular ARC supported project or community success story that captures the kind of future that you hope to see for Appalachia?
Well, I think there are so many. Just the way that companies have, or our region has sort of brought back history. The textile industry is coming back strong in North Carolina. The outdoor tourism, they're saying not only can you do it here, but we can actually make the equipment that you need for the activity and you can buy it here. That combination of creativity and ingenuity that's making things happen. I think, unfortunately, we've had some really disastrous flooding situations throughout Appalachia, which has, destroyed some really good things that have happened. And yet we have come right back, neighbor helping neighbor, but states coming in, helping one another. No, we're not giving up. We're going to build it back. I think affordable housing is an issue that we continue to, that's another challenge that we're facing. But the automotive industry has taken and made a big footprint throughout the Appalachian region. And again, our energy still is a major force and a major product that is helping to fuel this country and keep us the superpower that we've always been. So while we have not forgotten where we've come from and what has built this country, we are also venturing into whole new endeavors and industries that are making a difference in our communities. And it's not only bringing people into the area, but it's keeping our young people there.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great segue into my next question, which is if you look down the road 10 to 20 years and you're thinking about where Appalachia is now and where you could see it in the next few decades, what is your greatest hope for the region and for the people who call Appalachia home?
Well, anyone that knows me knows what I'm going to say as my answer. But Central Appalachia, Southern West Virginia, and Eastern Kentucky still has one of the largest contingency of impoverished counties, not only in Appalachia, but in the nation. But I believe through the things that we are doing and will continue to do, I think that we will change that. It's just that, again, being in this most rugged area, there is no flat land. Everything is a challenge, but we're overcoming that, and we're finding ways to build between and over the mountains, and we are making a difference there. But my hope would be that I always refer to this as the red blob that's right in the middle of Appalachia. And so my greatest hope would be that there will be a day that there will be no red blob in Appalachia.
And so you set me up for my last question, which you always ask all of our guests. So I'm going to be interested in your answer. I'm not even going to give you a little hint here. So our question that we always end with our guests is around Christian Appalachian Project's mission statement. Our mission statement is building hope, transforming lives, and sharing Christ's love through service in Appalachia. So when you think of those four words, hope, transformation, love, and service, which one of those stands out to you the most when you think of Appalachia?
Oh my goodness. That's not a fair question. That is not fair, because here's what I would say to you. We are transforming lives every day, giving people hope, and observing the love and service that happens between people and among all Appalachians. So I would say certainly, I would say love. I would put love, because love gives you the impetus to want to serve. It gives you hope. And in doing that, you transform lives. So you could not have a more important mission statement.
Well, thank you. Gayle, our time went by so fast. I so enjoyed this conversation today, and I hope people will go to the Appalachian Regional Commission website if they are not familiar with the organization and see the good work that you all are doing and continue to support the backing of those initiatives. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your time.
Well, Tina, thank you. This has been such an insightful conversation from your viewpoints, too, that you expressed. And so, being able to share and talk about something that I love very, very much has just started this off to be a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you again. Our guest today was Gayle Conelly Manchin, the Appalachian Regional Commission's 13th federal co-chair and the first ARC federal co-chair from West Virginia. Thank you for listening. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday and invite your friends to listen too. Follow the work of Christian Appalachian Project on all social media channels, and you can find the show at christianapp.org/podcast or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If you like the show, be sure to follow, subscribe, and join us for our next episode. This shows your support for the show and helps other people to find our show as well. Until next time, this is the Mountain Spirit. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep lifting up Appalachian voices. We'll see you next week.